quadratic and cubic. Yeah? So linear is x, quadratic is x squared, and cubic is x cubed. Yeah. So we're going to have a look at quadratic a little bit more today. Okay. And I don't think I gave you the vocabulary last time, but does anybody know the verb factorize? Does anyone know this verb?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, so what's factorize then? How would you explain it? You know what it is, yeah? Yeah.
Transform a number.
Yeah.
Make everything goes in.
Yeah. Well, maybe not quite. Factorize? Anyone else want to try to explain it?
Simplify a number.
The type of simplifying, yeah. Yeah. So factorize is when you have one thing and you try to write it as a multiplication of two other things. So for example, you could say 25 is 5 multiply 5. Yeah, is that fair? So this is factorize. So let me just give you this vocabulary. Hey guys, you got a seat? You'll have to sit over there by the window, yeah? Okay, so just write that word down because it'll be important for the exam. The question could say factorize, which is a verb. Does anyone know the noun? This is the verb. What's the noun? Factor, yeah. Is the noun. So the explanation to factorize, so if you were to write A equals B times C, these are called the factors of A. And the action to write it like this, the verb, this is the factorize part. So please learn this vocabulary because, you know, in the exam, the way the question would be written would be factorize blank. So you must know this word for the exam. It's not the same as solve, you know, it's different, so you need to know this word. Okay, have you got that? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so what we'll have a look at is quadratics. So just before we look at factorizing, a very quick revision of multiplication. I'm sure everybody remembers this, but just in case it's been a while, how do we multiply this out? So we do first with first, first with second, second with first, second with second. So you do all the possibilities. So you have x squared, what would be next? We'll do it a little bit at a time. So what would be next? 3x, and then next? 2x and 6. So that would be x squared plus 5x plus 6. Who remembers the verb for what we're doing here? What's the verb to go from here to here? What's the verb? What's the one I like? Yeah, expand. So that's expand, okay? So factorize is actually going backwards. So going backwards, that's factorize. So which one is the easy one, expanding or factorizing? Expanding is much easier than factorizing, much easier. So let's have a look at how to factorize, okay? Do I have something I can put? Something a little bit smaller than this, maybe. Like this would be the perfect size. No, actually not perfect. Oh no, it's perfect. There we go. Got all of that? Yeah. So for this lesson, we'll just practice factorizing some quadratics. But I'm sure you've done that in middle school. Yeah. So I'll do 4 examples, each one getting more difficult. So in fact, I'll just do the first question in your book, if you can read it to me. So what's the first equation? First quadratic. Yeah, what is it? X squared 13. 30. Okay. So for these, we need 2 brackets. First with x here and here. Right, so what you're looking to do, what you do first is you look at the 30 at the back and you think about what numbers multiply to make plus 30. Yeah, so it's going to be like 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. And then you look at the piece in the middle here, plus 11, and you think which of these numbers can add to make 11?
5 and 6.
So only 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So this one is not too difficult. The reason this one is easy, what makes it easy is having a plus here and a plus here, which means there must be a plus and a plus here. Makes it much easier to do. So this is kind of a basic one. So just to repeat, you're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to make this one, and 2 numbers that add to make this one. The same 2 numbers. Yeah. Okay. So you can see there's not really anything for me to write down, like a process. It's just something you have to think about. You could make some, you could try some different examples. So for example, in the exam, maybe you might say, oh, plus 3 and plus 10, which would be wrong. But you can see why. What's that? Exactly, yeah. The reason it doesn't work, it works here, x by x is x squared, and 3 by 10 is 30, but the problem is in the middle. X by 10 is 10x, and here 3x, and together that's 13, not 11x. So sometimes for the more difficult ones you have to try a couple of times, okay? So anyways, that's our first example. The answer is plus 6 and plus 5. Okay, so write this one down and then we'll do a more difficult one now. Oh yeah, and the verb, what's the verb here? Factorize. Okay, you got that? Alright, give me 2a, the next one, that's a little more difficult. X squared? Okay, so this one is a little bit more difficult because of the minus. Yeah. So just be very, very careful here with the minus. So again, what you do, you need to look at the number at the back first. So because this is a minus 35, the only way you can make a minus when you multiply is if one is a plus and one is a minus. So you know that here must be a plus and here must be a minus. Okay. So 35, that would be 35 and 1, and then 5 and 7. Is that it? These are the only 2, is it? Oh yeah. So it's not going to be that one because 35 is too big. It's no way you can get it down to 2 here. So it's going to have to be this one here. Now just be careful. You want to make minus 2. So the bigger number should go on the minus. 7, and 5, because when you add them together now, that would be minus 7 plus 5, which is minus 2. If I had 7 here and 5 here, it'd be plus 2 in the middle. Yeah. So yeah, just be careful with the sign. Make sure your signs work as well, not just the numbers. Okay, so take this one, write this one down as well. It's our second example. I thought I had 12 people.
Leon.
Who?
Leon.
Do I know him? Wait, he usually sits down in the back. Yes. Huh? By himself, down the back? Yes. No friends? Yeah? Oh, that's interesting. Just in my class.
Your class, I studied in the first row. This and last. The other class, I also studied in the last.
Which class do you sit the back in? Business? Economics? You always sit in the front? Oh, economics you sit in the back? Okay. And which class does he sit in the front? He always sits in the back? Leon?
I like this class, but we are all sitting.
There is no back. All right. You have this? Yeah, okay. So we'll do the next example now. So 3a. What's that? 15x squared. Yeah. Now it's getting more difficult. Okay, so what's different about this one compared to the other ones? It has the 15. So just a little bit of vocabulary, okay? You remember that this here is called, what's this called? This is a quadratic. But this here, the two examples we did, they were special quadratics because the A was 1. So there's an adjective here that will be useful to know called a monic quadratic, is when the A here is 1. Which maybe some people might recognize MON. Do you know this prefix? Mono? Yeah, you know this prefix. Some people know this prefix. This means 1. Mono. Yeah. Does anyone know any words starting with mono? English words starting with mono? No? 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 What about mono rail? The train with only one track. You know this train? Most train tracks have 2. You know this, some have 1. That's monorail. Yeah? Do you know this? Yeah? And then on your phone or on your laptop, you can have 2 types of sound. The sound that comes out of the left and the right speaker. Yeah, mono and stereo. Yeah. So you can have sound that comes out of one speaker, which is mono, or sound that comes from 2, which is stereo. Yeah, so mono means 1, okay? So this is monic quadratic. So if I go back here, this is not monic. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. Did you write that word down, monic? No, it might be a good idea. I think so, anyways. Okay. So this one is a little bit different because not only do you have to look at the 24, you also have to look at the 15. So I'll do this actually in some color system. Okay, so we have our x and we have our x. Okay, so the good news is, because there's a plus and a plus here, at least that means there's a plus and a plus here. That's good. Now, the 24, you need to put it here as normal, but the 15, you need to put in the front of the x. So if you think about it, you need two numbers
3 and 5.
that multiply make 15. Yeah, so it could be 3 and 5, or it could be 15 and 1. So we'll write some possibilities down here. We could have 3 and 5, or we could have 1 and 15. The 24, we could have 6 and 4, 3 and 8, 12 and 2, 1 and 24. And now we need these to add together to make 38 when you multiply them. Okay, so like for example, let's just put 1 in for example. So for example, if I go with 3 and 5 and let's say 3 and 8, what do I get here? Let's have a look. I get 15. And here, what do I get? 24. 15 plus 24.
39.
So close. 39. We need 38. Not 39. Okay, so we need to try something different. Let's try. Okay, so maybe 6 and 4. You think 3 and 5 then as well? Okay, so this one here would be yeah, so this isn't, it's nearly right. This is 12, that's 42. But if we change the, well, if I put the 5 here and the 3 here, this would be 18. And then this one here would be 20. So together they do make 38 then. So, there's not any secret to doing these. You just have to be able to see it in your head, to calculate quickly in your head. You don't want to be taking out a calculator, typing in 3 multiply 5 equals, you know, you need to be able to do this in your head. Okay, write this one down.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Can we use the calculator that can...
Yeah, if your calculator can do this and you know how to do this on your calculator, but a lot of students, they don't use their calculator right and they think they have the right answer, but they don't. So if you do use your calculator, please make sure you're using it right. Can your calculator do this?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Then it's okay, because there's no way for me to know. I can't look at this and say, oh, he used his calculator or he didn't use his calculator. It's impossible for me to tell. So in the exam it's okay, because I have no way of seeing, you know, if you did do it in your head or on the calculator. So it doesn't matter. But I would like you not to use the calculator so you can build strong maths muscles. Yeah. To check is a good idea. It's a very good idea. Okay, one more example now. The 4a.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
If we didn't find the answer, can we use the formula for...
Not quite, because the formula doesn't give you the factors. The formula gives you the value for x, which is something that we'll do later. So the formula would work if I said to solve, but if I said to factorize the formulas, I suppose you could use the formula, but
It will get you x is equal
yeah,
a number.
and you
What
could
about
work backwards.
Yeah. This is what I
It seems like a long way to do it, but it could work, yes. Yeah. Okay. Can we go to the next one now? Yeah. Okay. 12x squared. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I need my two numbers to multiply to make 12, and then I need two numbers to multiply to make minus 15. So that makes me think there should be a plus. and a minus. Yeah. Okay, 12 could be 1 and 12, 3 and 4, 6 and 2. And then the 15 could be 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Alright, so I'm just going to go with, let's go with, I feel like 3 and 4 could be lucky. 3 and 4, and then 3 and 5 maybe. So will this work? Let's see, this is 12, and this is 15, is it? No, doesn't work. So, what about if I try? No, not okay. So maybe it's not 3 and 4. Maybe it's 6 and 2. And they could be the other way around as well. Oh wait, hang. Oh, no.
It's 3 and 4.
It is 3 and 4. You feel?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
3 and 4. Okay, so what did I have?
What is around like 3x minus?
Huh? 3x minus?
Yeah.
I'll put the minus here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could try that way too. Minus here and plus here. So what do you think we should try here then? You want to go 5 and 3? Alright, so this, this is minus 20.
Yeah.
And then this is plus 9. Minus 20 plus 9 is minus 11. Yeah, that's it. So sometimes you can get lucky at the start. Sometimes it'll take you longer. In the exam, not always, but more often in the exam they give you, do you remember the name? In the exam they usually give you monic quadratics. Not always, but most of the time. So if this was an exam question, like they ask you to factorize it, usually it's monic. Not always, but usually. Okay, which is good news for you. All right, did you write this one down?
No.
Yeah?
No.
Not yet? Okay. Let's have a look at the questions. How long do you think it should take to do one of these questions? How much time for one of these? What do you think?
It's independent, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
From what to what then? From 5 seconds to maybe a bit more than 10.
3 minutes.
Okay, alright. Worst case, 3 minutes then. Yeah? So let's see how much time we have left. Okay. I'll give you 2 from each. If you can do each one in 5 seconds, then that's, let's see, 2, 4, that's 40 seconds of work, if you can. If it needs to take you 3 minutes, 2, 4, 6, 8, that's 24 minutes. So, if you get them finished, then there's no homework, okay? So I just want people to do BC in everything, okay? BC, 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 BC. Yeah. And that, by the way, that's your homework. So if you finish it now, then that's fine. All right. Speaking of homework, let me see how you did.